Homeland Security and everyone there that was involved, as well as everyone that assisted in negotiations. But again, we've still got a situation that is not completely resolved. We still want to get this mail out, obviously unscathed. We don't know if he's injured. In my conversations with him, it doesn't appear that he is, but I'm not sure. So we will keep you apprised, but didn't want to keep you in the dark about where we were and have you just have to speculate about the status regarding the police officers and the hostages. We are very, very lucky with 6 police officers shot in one incident. It is remarkable that, I believe a couple of them have been released already. And so it is nothing short of astounding that in such a confined space that we didn't have more of a tragedy than we did. So we're so thankful that they were able to get out. We were able to get the other folks out. The prisoners that were in there are also unharmed. And I don't even know miraculously how that happened, because there were multiple gunshots fired. He fired shots while I was on location. He hasn't done so in a while. So we're optimistic that that means he's starting to understand that, there's some benefit to him coming out and surrendering. But we still don't know if that's going to be the case. So I'm in a better position to take some more questions right now than I was before, because our people are around there, and they'll keep me updated as we go forward. All right?
How many officers have been discharged? How many officers have been discharged?
How many? You know what? All of them? Okay, so I just walked around the corner. That's my update. I never even got a chance to get up to Einstein, and regrettably, I feel bad about that. And I apologize to those officers and their families that I didn't get a chance to do that. I hope they can understand why, given the circumstances with 2 of their fellow comrades that were trapped inside. So my apologies to them for not being able to see how they were doing while they were in the ER.
Just to clarify, one officer in Einstein has been...
One has been admitted, they're telling me. One has been admitted in Einstein. But that was a car accident, apparently. Apparently all the gunshot wounds, these officers will be able to, so we'll clear all that up as we go forward, particularly relative to names and so forth. But right now, we need to get you the circumstance. As you know, this was a narcotics warrant that went awry almost immediately, and the officers came under fire. The reason they were in different parts of the houses is a protocol, the way they search to make sure safely that they can secure every part of the house as quickly as they can. And unfortunately, some got trapped upstairs, and those are the ones we were talking about. I think they were taking gunfire upstairs as well. So again, nothing short of a miracle that we don't have multiple officers killed today. So we're so thankful for that. Somebody over here had a question.
How did the 2 officers get out?
Well, SWAT did that. They were so adept at doing that. They've got a skill set that they were able to utilize tonight, and they were able to use stealth to do it. And it was absolutely remarkable the way they did it, to watch that unfold, and to do so in large part without him being aware, or at least we don't think he was aware. And so their bravery, as well as the bravery of every other officer that took fire today, because they took fire today as well. Just about everybody at that scene did at some point in time. So we've got, once we get him out, we will have a very, very expansive crime scene that we will be at for hours and hours, as you can clearly see. It's clearly not the most optimal circumstance, but obviously officers did return fire initially. And there were different bouts of fire as he was firing throughout the course of this encounter. All right, folks.
I had the opportunity over the last number of hours to listen to the transmissions on the radio, and I can tell you our police officers are not only talented but brave. That was an amazing, intense number of hours going back and forth, listening to gunshots over the radio, listening to officers whispering upstairs because they didn't want the shooter to know where they were located. It was just a riveting experience. But our officers need help. They need help. They need help with gun control. They need help with keeping these weapons out of these people's hands. I mean, I told you earlier, the 2 little boys the officer had his head grazed just a little bit more, and those 2 little boys will grow up and out with their dad. Because this government, both on the federal and state level, don't want to do anything about getting these guns off the streets and getting them out of the hands of criminals. This guy is clearly a criminal. He is a criminal, and he had apparently a long record, which I'm not sure if I don't have it in front of me, but has been involved in the criminal justice system before, and he was able to get these weapons and a large magazine, a large amount of bullets. whether it's our 6 officers who were shot, or it's some 15, 17, 20-year-old kid on the streets of Philadelphia who gets shot with guns that shouldn't be in people's hands. And it's aggravating, it's saddening, and it's just something that we need to do something about. And if the state and federal government don't want to stand up to the NRA and some other folks, then let us police ourselves. But they preempt us on all kinds of gun control legislation. Our officers deserve to be protected, and they don't deserve to be shot at by a guy for hours with an unlimited supply of weapons and an unlimited supply of bullets. So it's disgusting, and we got to do something about it. And we need to do something about it quickly.
When was the last time this number of officers have been shot at in one incident?
Had to be moved, right?
Yeah, and it may be move situation. I can't think of one where, and over such a prolonged period of time. Because it wasn't like there was just an initial volley of shots upon entry. This went on long after I got there. And so I've not seen that in years. And, John and I have been on 30 years.
Yeah, nothing.
And I've
Move.
not seen
Move
that.
company.
Move, so you're referencing all the way back to
85.
Okay.
Somebody upstairs was watching over these cops today. 6 cops, all shot, and they're all released and going home to their families. There could very well be 3 coffins leaving here and 3 leaving from Einstein. We can't have this. Too many guns out there. We need more support out there. We need the community support. Step up. We're there for you. Come out, tell us what you need, and we'll get it done. We have the resources. We need cooperation. We need backing, especially in certain offices in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll also keep you guys updated on Twitter. Keep following us on Twitter. We'll keep, even if we're just telling you it's status quo, we'll make sure you keep doing it.
Press conference today in Philadelphia. The mayor speaking, the police commissioner in Philadelphia speaking, telling us all that the officers who were shot in today's active shooting situation there, they have all left the hospital. So amazing news there. The mayor bringing up the fact that a bullet to the officer's head had been just a few inches over, just inches, that they would been children there growing up without a father. So remarkable news that the officers shot have left. Again, we were talking about other officers that had been injured. We know the number, there had been at least one involved in a crash. That officer has been admitted to the hospital because of his injuries. So, excuse me, will at least be staying overnight there in the hospital. Again, the standoff in Philadelphia, it continues tonight, and we continue to monitor it here in the KHOU 11 newsroom. That press conference just wrapping up there. Again, you can see the rain falling, and that is why we lost our shot coming from North 15th Street there in Philadelphia, where this actual scene is. This is, again, the Temple University Medical Center, where 3 of the officers had been taken to be cared for. This hospital just blocks from the scene where this active shooter continues. They did say, the police chief said, that there hasn't been any shots fired from the home in the last few hours, he said. So hopefully this is coming to an end. He indicated that hopefully that meant that the shooter knows that there's options to come outside. Also, I can tell you we've learned in the last hour, been able to confirm by police, and they had been very, I would say, withholding of this information, and that is because they knew that these 2 officers were inside of this home. There had been reports all over social media, though, but there had been 2 police officers inside of this home. They, of course, entered from different directions as they headed there to serve this warrant. There had been 2 officers trapped inside this home, as well as several other people. The police commissioner there, Richard Ross Jr. in Philadelphia, called it a hostage situation. That's how he considered it. Those 2 officers, among those hostages being held in that home, SWAT team members from the Philadelphia Police Department have gone in, and those 2 officers have been pulled out to safety, as well as the other people in the home. They are now considering this a standoff between Philadelphia police tonight and this man who the mayor said had a lengthy criminal history. He called him a criminal with a long record, and police now trying to convince him to come out of the house and turn himself in tonight. We're going to have the very latest on this coming up on KHOU 11 News at 10. Of course, we're always updating our digital platforms, as well as KHOU.com with the very latest on this story. As soon as this live broadcast is over, you'll be able to go back and watch the parts of this press conference that you might have missed. Again, Brett Buffington here in the KHOU 11 newsroom, continuing to follow this story throughout the day. I'll be live on our broadcast side coming up at 10 o'clock.